What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I know it has been a while since some updates. I've had a lot of life things happening, so I haven't really been able to play some card games. But we're gonna get back on the grind because we have the new Gundam card game that just launched, and this is gonna be my deck profile for my first place blue-white deck that I won last weekend. This is a combination of the ST01, ST02, and ST04 cards. The place allowed fully built decks for the players that came. We had 14 players out of the 16-player cap, so it was a pretty good event. And they basically said winner takes all. So on entry, you got the sleeves, you got the strike promo, and then because there was 2 entries left, first place got both. So got the 2 sleeves and 2 more of the strike Gundam promo. So I just need 1 more to get a set, which is pretty cool. But yeah, Gundam card game is very fun. I like it a lot. I like the strategy behind the card game. I got peasant resources here, but the sleeves are really nice. I like the art that they put on them. And we're just gonna get right into the deck profile just to kind of give you guys an idea on how you should be building your deck with this game. Right now the card pool is really limited. The main set's not out yet, so obviously this is going to be extremely subject to change. But if you've only been able to get your hand on a couple of starters, this is probably a good starting point for you, so you can kind of understand how to deck build and what you're looking for when you're building a Gundam card deck. So obviously what you're looking for is you're looking for on curve stats. So we have our level 2, which means you need to have 2 resources. It's a 2 cost card blocker, 2/1. I don't like any of the 1/1 blockers. I think those are wastes of times. The early game, you're kind of like trying to set up your board to eventually start this kind of trade war, so to speak, which is really interesting, because Gundam is about wars. You set up your army first, and then you go to battle with them. So it's okay to skip turn 1. Like, you're playing a 1/1 blocker for nothing. Like, your opponent's not really going to be able to attack. There's summoning sickness, so you can kind of wait a turn out if you want, if they really want to damage you, or if you're going second, you have your base or whatever. But what we're looking for is nice, well-statted, a nice well-statted curve. And what that means is, you're looking for things that are beneficial towards the cost that you pay for them. So for example, here we have a lot of our level 2 cards, which means you have to have 2 resources to be able to play these cards, and then you spend 2 of those resources to summon them. And their stat line is what makes them important. And when I'm talking about stat line, I'm talking about the attack point value and their health point values. So you have a 2 cost 2/1, a 2 cost 3/2, and a 2 cost 3/2 here. So those are really good stat lines. So if you've played any type of card game with this, especially if you're someone who's played Magic, stats like this are just really good off rip. You got early blockers. You have an attacker here for when you're able to attack with the card. And it's just one of those things you want to keep in mind when you're building your deck. Obviously you want to pay attention to the type of links that you have. We're not really worried about DZ. You have an academy here, you have Earth Alliance, which we do play in the deck. We'll get to that in a second. We're not really trying to go aggro with these guys. A lot of the time, a lot of these decks is all about setup. So you're mostly trying to set up your curve. Here we have another example of a good stat line. We have to wait until we have 3 resources, but for 2 mana, you get a 2/4 Earth Alliance. And if you happen to have the Earth Alliance pilot, which, if it's Mulaflaga, which we're not playing in this deck, but we have Earth Alliance, that can come up and be really beneficial. Again, we're just kind of going along with the stats. These are some of the really good stat-based cards in all of these starters. You'll notice it's a mix again of starter 1, starter 2, and starter 4, which is there's the blue-white, the white-red, and the blue-green decks respectively. And I just took all the blue and the white cards from those and kind of put this deck together. Here we have that Strike Gundam. I thought about playing more because it is a draw. There's not a lot of really good draw power in this game. But like, you're also discarding the card, and I don't really like to discard too much. But we're just kind of like staying on a curve here. So if you notice, you have the curve before you start getting to like your big bombs, which of course would be the main LRs that are in the deck. For example, we'll be playing 4 copies of the Gundam LR. This is another great example of like really good stats and also a really good effect. It has repair too, which means at the end of your turn, it heals itself. So it always heals itself too. During pair, during your turn, all your units get 8p plus 1. So if it has a pair, all your guys are plus 1 attack, which is really strong. And of course, you know, you have like, not really a boss, but just like a really good statted card with a really good effect. The AO Strike Gundam is obviously an LR in the starter deck for a reason. It has blocker. It's a level 5 4-cost card. When paired with a level 4 or higher pilot, you can choose one enemy unit with 4 or less HP and return it to its owner's hand, which means you have bounce. You're looking to pair it with a Kira Yamato because it's looking for a level 4 or higher pilot. And that's exactly who we're playing. We have Amare for blue. And then, you know, for the AO Strike, we got Kira Yamato. And these are also really good because the Amare, when paired, you can choose one enemy unit with 5 or less and rest it, which means you get to attack it. Because you can only attack rested battle cards. And then the Kira Yamato gives it +2/+1. Amare is also a +2/+1. When you attack, you can choose one enemy unit and reduce its attack by 2 during this battle, which is really good when you're trying to get trades or get rid of a really nasty card. And then the rest of the deck is just like the support card. So you have Siege Ploy, which I think is a really good burst card. It's also really good on the main or action because you can do actions on when you're attacking or at the end step and whatnot. So you can rest a blocker or rest one of your opponent's cards when you're doing an attack and whatnot. I really like Unforeseen Incident. Giving something -3 I think is really strong, especially in a very limited pool. The fact that you can do it on a burst or main or as an action, it's really good. So when they attack your guy, if you want to make them smaller so you can kill it, this is really good to play on that. And then I kind of like the token aspect of this game. Being able to make blocker tokens makes up for the fact that we're only playing like 8 blockers essentially, but then you get to make tokens that have really good stats that all have blocker. If they hit this, you get the burst, so you get a token. And then, or if you do the main, if you have no Earth Alliance unit tokens in play, you get to play the Sword Strike Gundam, which has a 4/2 and it's blocker. Or you can do a Launcher Strike Gundam, which is a 2/4 blocker. And that's really strong. And then obviously the only base we're playing in this deck, I think, you know, many people feel we might want to play more. But out of all the starter decks, I think white base is the best base in the game right now. I haven't had a chance to look at the main set, but this base is just ridiculously strong. It's a 5 health base. Once per turn, you get to pay 2 and deploy a 3/3 token if you have no units in play. Deploy a 2/2 if you have only 1 unit in play. And then if you have 2 or more, you get to deploy a 1/1. So based on what you have, you know, you're always getting something. Like even if you have a guy on board, you can pay 2 and you're hitting a guy that is really strong. This is a nice way to like flood the board, especially if you've traded into your opponent's board and you've wiped them, and you can kind of start building your board back with a little bit of weenies. So yeah, so there you have it. That's the blue-white deck that I won my starter event with. Again, there's a lot of creativity in this game. You can go many different directions with the decks there. I don't think there's like one correct way to play particular colors. This is just something I went with going off of my own card knowledge, understanding the mechanics of the game, as well as, hey, I want to do things that have low cost value for what I'm trying to do in the game, which is basically I'm trying to attack into your guys. I'm trying to make your guys smaller so that they die and my guys stay alive. And then I go for your shields and hopefully it's game. So that's kind of the strat that I went for. That's why I built this deck the way it is here. Obviously there's a lot of other good blue cards. You can do more with the bases. You can play Corsica. Corsica is not a bad card. I just didn't like it for what I was going for in this particular build. You could do some of the other pilots and Gundam combinations. There's a lot of different ways to build decks in this. So I think the creativity in this game is going to be really fun to see as it evolves over the course of the time. I'm really excited for Gundam. And I think, it's a really good card game. Very methodical, very technical, and I like it. So let me know what you think about the Gundam card game. I think I'm going to do some more content on this. You might see me over on, not just on this channel, but if you can, please check out The Last Snow. He's also going to be doing Gundam content on top of the Fusion World content that he already is. We got a lot of cool things planned for collabing with each other. We've done tier list videos for the Dragon Ball Fusion World, which is something that I was able to have time for. But yeah, we're back on the content grind. Let me know what you think. Please like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.